Due to the move to our new facility in Miramar, NBC6 News at 5 will not be seen. Stay tuned for a new NBC6 The More You Know special, The Cuba I Never Knew.
The following NBC6 The More You Know special is being brought to you by our The More You Know sponsors, Best Buy, Publix, and your South Florida Chrysler, Plymouth, and Jeep dealers.
Good evening. Tonight we present an unusual look at Cuba through the eyes of photojournalist Carlos Regal. Carlos, his father, his mother, and brothers arrived in South Florida in 1962. The journey begins now to U.S. government officials. Let me read it. Through this letter, I wish to convey my eternal gratitude toward this great nation, cradle of democracy. My wife, my children, and I have been able to survive in this new life. It's difficult to express how worried we were in Cuba, realizing we were just about ready to lose it all and forced to leave this country and come to this new land, our holy land of Washington, Lincoln, Jefferson, and so many more. The communist regime, which today imprisons and destroys all Cuba, forced us out, made us come here to join our brothers who love democracy. His biggest concern, the fate and future of his children under the indoctrination of the Castro regime.
Le decimos a nuestro invicto comandante en jefe que con la organización del pionero José Martí podrá contar en cualquier circunstancia, siendo Cuba lo que es hoy, siendo un pueblo uniformado, mientras exista el imperialismo. ¡Pueblo de Cuba! Aquí tienen las ideas de Martí y Fidel. ¡Que viva nuestro invicto comandante en jefe! ¡Viva! ¡Socialismo, patria o muerte! ¡Venceremos!
Hey now, all you sinners, put your lights on. Put your lights on. Hey now.
This type of regime is based on fear and hunger. And when people are just looking the whole day with what will you feed your children, it's like a flat life. It's life where imagination doesn't have any way in. It's the kind of life you don't read them whatever you want to read to them because books don't exist.
Hey now.
In Cuba, since you begin to go to school, you are 4 years old, it's mandatory to belong to a political organization for children called the Pioneer. And it's a copy of the communist Russia. And children are used in rallies and protests against dissidents. Children are used to go to quoted voluntary works. Once in a while, Castro stands up and says that the Americans will invade Cuba, and he makes people believe that that will happen. And my daughter was sent to open trenches. People have a very bad level of life in Cuba. For example, when children are 6, they lose the right to receive milk. See, this is a police state. It's so obvious.
So let your light shine deep into my home. God, don't let me lose my nerve.
Today marks the 480th anniversary of Havana's founding by the Spanish, but on the eve of a new millennium, there is little to celebrate on this island for those who oppose Castro and his policies. A case in point, the young Cuban man sitting next to me. He speaks English, and I'd like to talk to him about his views, but he said no. He's afraid to do so because he's worried the police over there will begin to hassle him.
Fear is a staple of Castro's Cuba, the island's dissidents, a cross-section of its society, journalists, peasants, housewives.
No, uno vive con mucho temor, con mucho miedo, todo el mundo, ¿no? Lo que pasa es que uno se siente también como ciudadano, ¿no? Con la necesidad de hacer algo, de saber, porque son muchos años, ¿no? y hemos probado, y estamos haciendo del método más pacífico y civilizado posible.
Somos personas pacíficas. Los violentos son ellos. Yo, por lo menos, ya le dije, como ahorita, como expresó nuestro mártir, que los hombres no abandonan la lucha cuando la causa es justa. Veo que es una causa justa la que hemos escogido.
Nadie quiere ser héroe, sino hacer su pequeña contribución a la que pueda, ¿no? Pero con mucho tenemos tiempo.
A pesar de la visita del Papa y del mensaje del Papa Juan Pablo II, la situación sigue siendo muy desfavorable en materia de derechos humanos en nuestro país. El actual gobierno de Cuba debe marcharse, sin más, al cabo de más de 40 años gobernando. Y el gobierno de Cuba no desea hacer reformas, por lo menos hasta este momento. Pedimos libertad de expresión, pedimos transformaciones en el país, la unidad de todos los ciudadanos, que nos permitan la libre asociación, que nuestros hijos puedan estudiar en las escuelas que nosotros queramos, no que quiere el gobierno, que los cubanos tengan libertad de producción, que puedan invertir en su país, que los obreros tengan un salario adecuado para poder subsistir sin tener que robar, que las mujeres en nuestro país no tengan que prostituirse por problemas económicos. Deben andar cerca de 300 y alrededor de 400 prisioneros políticos. Las condiciones en que tienen que convivir la mayoría de estos prisioneros políticos son unas condiciones infrahumanas. Celdas que apenas tienen 1 metro de ancho y 2 metros de largo. La vigilancia esa extrema que tenemos para donde quiera que nos movemos, la vigilancia en la casa, que no puede ir allá, que no puede ir acá, no puede estar haciendo reuniones porque son clandestinas, según lo llama ellos.
Aquí todo tiene que ser, entra en las razones del partido o simplemente no todo es contra la revolución.
Porque nos tratan como si fuéramos animales. Somos personas, nacimos libres, la mayoría somos religiosos.
Hay un proceso, ahí, o sea, un proceso que le dicen revolución, ¿me entiendes? Hay una cosa que tiene, la revolución, y es que tiene muchos productos subsidiados, como es el caso de la leche para los niños, un ejemplo que te pongo, que cuesta $1, un ejemplo, y uno sabe que el precio de costo de la leche es mucho más alto, más elevado. Y hay otras cosas que sí, que están a nuestro favor, que es el caso de la educación, un ejemplo, en Cuba, que el que no estudia es porque no quiere. Incluso aquí obligan a la gente cuando es muchacho para que estudie. Eso sí es una ventaja. La salud, 1 millón de enfermedades, 1 millón de cosas que tú puedes ir sin problemas al hospital, que no tienes que pagar un medio. Eso es una ventaja. Hay cosas que son muy buenas y hay cosas, una desventaja.
Sí.
No sé, una desventaja, no sé, tendrías que hacerme una pregunta más concreta y explicarte.
Los derechos humanos, una desventaja. Existen.
Eso es un tema conflictivo aquí. Es mejor eso ni tocarlo.
Mejor. La opresión del régimen. Ustedes van y votan a un presidente.
A un presidente no.
Entonces, ¿qué es lo que es él?
Cualquier persona que toque la sensibilidad del proceso, hay un proceso ahí, o sea, un proceso que le dicen revolución. Pero bueno, la gente que está en contra de ese proceso aquí, siempre va a ser perseguido. Siempre, olvídate eso, eso no lleva eso el menor de los tiquitiques.
Around here, the sun is never hotter and the fun is never greater than now during the Jeep Sensational Summer Event, where you can get Grand Cherokee Laredo with 5.9% financing for up to $2,800 in savings. Or choose up to $4,500 in total values if you're a returning Daimler Chrysler lessee. But you'd better hurry, because even though the fun will stick around, the sensational summer event won't. See your South Florida Chrysler, Plymouth, and Jeep dealer.
I've got the world on a string, sitting on a rainbow. Got the string around my finger. What a world, what a life. Yeah, I've got a song that I sing. I can make a rainbow anytime I move my finger. Lucky me.
Sky.
told me one, said it brotherhood from sea to shining sea. But next Jesus died. I want to thank you, Lord. Let me thank you, Lord. Yes.
The 2000 Olympics coming in September to NBC 6.
It's a city almost 500 years old and full of architectural wonders. I'm Patricia Andreu in Havana, where architects race to restore dilapidated buildings, while foreigners lead to a construction boom.
I know there's a lot of concern, especially among Cuban Americans, about if these new buildings can destroy the charm of Havana. And I should say that there is also that concern shared by Cuban authorities. Havana, it's obvious when you move around, it's a lot of its built stock is deteriorated because of the lack of maintenance. You know, we are also very close to the waterfront, and especially in the inner districts, there is overcrowding. Construction, let's say, construction of new houses does not match the amount of dwellings that are being lost because buildings get to a very dilapidated to a point that they are useless and no longer able to be lived. Buildings cannot remain frozen in time.
With so many buildings in Old Havana in bad need of repair, nobody can say for sure just how much money would be needed to restore them. Some think about $14 billion, but Cayula says it would take much more than that.
The real solution for the housing condition in Havana should include the population itself, and like being able to buy some building materials or hire some workers and do minor repairs and maybe get soft loans from the banks in order to pay for that.
For being poor, I live well. In this house, 18 people live. We're repairing it because the water gets in.
18 families or 18 people? 18 people in a two-story house, in a two-story apartment?
Yes, it has 6 rooms.
Is it difficult?
No, that's not difficult. What's difficult is the fact we're only given one ration card for all of us. Everyone has to eat from what we're rationed. And we're always fighting because some eat more than they're rationed.
What does the ration book give you?
Rice, beans, picadillo.
How much?
6 pounds per person a month of rice.
Well, there's an enormous beauty even in somebody slowly dying. You know? Even today, there's an enjoyment of life, even in this incredible tragedy that they're going through. Is the spirit of the place. The city and its inhabitants were one, which is that strange feeling that you felt. The city is dying, but the people are still there. The spirit is there. That's why I have an absolute faith in the future of my country. I am totally convinced. But if you want to know why do I sound maybe a little bit strong to you, is because in my urbanism and Roman, I'm Moorish and Islamic in my architecture because we filter light. We use jalousies to actually receive an indirect light. I'm Spanish because that was the filter through which the whole Mediterranean came into my country. I'm Cuban because I was born there, and thank God I'm American now. If you can compete with that.
a century ago.
Here in this building, Florida television began.
WTVJ made the commitment to deliver the first and best newscast in South Florida. Journalistic excellence, community service, consistent innovation. Interesting. The more things change, the more they stay the same. The difference is experience. Experience the difference of NBC6.
On the next Montel, unspeakable acts committed by those they thought they knew.
I waited to see the look in my eyes.
Shelley was doused with acid and set on fire by her ex-boyfriend. Authorities believe Yolanda lost her children at the hands of their own father.
If God controls everything, why did he let this happen?
And Shawnette barely escaped the deadly fire set by her brother.
I can't forget what happened. He took my family away.
Lives destroyed by loved ones on the next Montel.
Monday at 3, followed by Rosie on NBC 6. Do you feel intimidated by the many financial choices available today? Whether getting a home mortgage, making an investment, or financing a car, be sure to do your homework. Let us help. The Florida Department of Banking and Finance can tell you if a company is licensed to do business, and we can even give you their complaint history. So give us a call at 1-800-848-3792. Because making a smart investment is more than just child's play.
Technically, you all know about the U.S. embargo, and that they don't want to spend an American money and here because of the long-standing embargo. For somebody from Montana, how do you feel about that?
It seems kind of silly this far, you know, at this day and age.
Do you think of yourself as lending aid or helping prop up Castro by spending your money here?
I don't. I see it help, well, it's hard to say. I see it helping a lot of people. I think we've helped a lot of people here.
Why Cuba?
Somewhat different.
Well, I don't know much of the background and history of the situation, what they've done to the people here. From what I've seen, they're fairly happy people. I haven't seen perhaps the underside of it, but...
Castro won't allow freedom of expression, opposition parties. That's the argument in the United States. Why reward him for oppressing his own people?
Yeah, but it's not rewarding him. It's rewarding these people. Because this is the people who's suffering the consequence of that embargo. It's going to be interesting when the embargo is lifted to see what happens. I think this is going to become a real tourist attraction.
I suppose it's one of the countries in the world you can go to without being inundated by Americans.
Is that good, by the way?
Yeah.
I've heard.
Un pequeño amigo nos hace feliz. A todos los niños nos pone a reír. Miles de aventuras podrán compartir con ese pequeño colibrí. Es un pajarito.
To actually be here, it's like reliving all my childhood of everything that I was told of my whole entire family. And now I'm actually getting to touch the door, the house. You know, it's reality.
She remind me of a West Side Story, growing up in Spanish Harlem. She living a life just like a movie star.
I'm looking at these little girls playing in the road and I say, I was one of those. It's just overwhelming because there's so much love, even though they haven't seen me in 32 years. I feel so overwhelmed that I am here in my roots, where I was made, where I come from, that I cannot explain it. I feel honored to be here where my parents had me. Honored.
As the rich is getting richer, the poor is getting poorer. See me and Maria on the corner, thinking of ways to make it better. In my mailbox, in the dictionary.
It's just overwhelming how much love, with what little they have, how they could give and just... Oye, me trajimos una refresco y una cervecita ahí. Déjale el juguito. ¿Te gusta el juguito, papi? Qué lindo. I brought them antibiotics, baby wipes, baby toys, clothing, shirts, hats, toothpaste,
toothbrushes, all of this stuff, shampoo, creams, umbrellas.
All the things we take for granted, simple things.
Yeah, all of that stuff.
And their reaction upon getting all the stuff.
Oh, are you kidding?
Twice about.
Oh, they were like crying when they got it.
Sure reminds us of how spoiled rotten we are. Everything you pointed out, you and I just take for granted.
Absolutely. I mean, all we have to do is we really need anything that's here. We just go to anywhere, Walgreens, Eckerd's, or JCPenney, or anywhere, and we just get it. And it's wonderful. It really is. And it makes you appreciate a lot.
What you have.
Absolutely. I just thank God, honestly, that I'm here with my family and that I've had the opportunity to be here with them. Because I think that we see how other countries and other places live through families. That's the only way. We can't see that through any political meeting or any political. You see the reality of that country or that land or whatever through family life. Riding a bike was exciting for him, taking his cousin on a bike ride during, a dirt bike, and he's scared, and that's life. That's life.
Undercover scenes of Charlie's Angels, Leanne Rimes' mischievous movie debut, and Kathy Lee's final farewell. I'm Pat O'Brien. On the next Access Hollywood, we bring you the very first footage of Charlie's Angels on the big screen. Then, don't miss your first look at Leanne Rimes crooning in Coyote Ugly. Plus, we brought you Kathy Lee's farewell interview. Now we take you on the set behind the scenes for her last day of Talk TV. Next, Access Hollywood.
Tonight at 7, followed by Extra here on NBC 6.
From the producer of Law & Order comes a new series this fall on NBC. He's New York's most respected journalism professor.
Okay, the New York shooting, how many victims?
You want us to go online or?
No, I want you to put on your shoes and socks and go down to the court clerk's office.
If you're willing to look behind the headlines,
But finding out what really happened.
you better be ready for anything.
You're innocent because on the night of the murders you were killing somebody else?
Boom. There it is. Oliver Platt. Deadline, NBC Mondays this fall.
Live, real-time stock information. Seen only on NBC 6. Brought to you by Trivergent.
She will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere in 30 days.
The satellite is obsolete.
Is there anyone still alive who can fix this thing?
The crew is over the hill.
You became a senior citizen 5 years ago. 4.
But the biggest challenge isn't getting to space.
General, just what sort of modifications have your people made here?
It's surviving there.
I'm not getting this crew killed, you included.
Space Cowboys.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be hard.
Rated PG-13. Sneak preview Sunday starts August 4th.
Void where prohibited. Offer only good in select markets. Not available on vehicles shown. Just a few of the words you won't find in our fine print. Introducing Mitsubishi's No Excuses event. Get 1.9% APR for 5 years when you buy any new 2000 Mitsubishi. The fastest growing Japanese car company in America. Oh, and don't worry. Hurry, Mitsubishi's No Excuses event won't last long.
Carlos's father's letter continues. Thank God we were able to arrive in a land which receives all those seeking freedom with open and loving arms. I hope to God that this letter requesting that I be removed from the list of those needing economic assistance is a first step towards our economic independence as we work hard to feed our Christian families with enthusiasm, happiness, and dignity. Please know I remain eternally grateful to the United States. It's signed by Dr. Florencio Regal, Mercy Hospital. He got the job 3 months after he arrived in the United States, and that was July 13th, 1962. A man who knew he was never going back to Cuba, and most likely his children never will either. He loved the United States, yet his heart still remained in Cuba.
desde los tiempos remotos de La Habana colonial. Mi padre dejó su tierra y cuando al morro llegó, La Habana le abrió sus piernas y por eso nací yo. Habana, Habana, si bastara una canción para devolverte todo lo que el tiempo te quitó. Habana, mi Habana, si supieras el dolor que siento cuando te canto y no entiendes ese amor. Escuchando a Matamoros desde un lejano lugar, La Habana guarda un tesoro que es difícil olvidar. Y los años van pasando y miramos con dolor cómo se